You quit your job because you don't want to work as hard as you are and you want to make more money. But as soon as you quit, you will realize that you are now going to work way harder than you were and you're going to make less money.
Starting a business is extremely difficult, but there are definitely some things you can do that make it easier. Now, when I started, I had no money, no plan, no business skills. I actually had negative money because I had student loans. That's not a very good place to start. So don't be like me, make a solid plan, especially if you have responsibilities, and you can actually make progress much faster than I did. By the way, my name is Ben. I am a 5-figure entrepreneur. Yes, very impressive. But my sales have doubled in the past 3 months, and I am on track to be a 6-figure entrepreneur for the first time by end of the year. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the 3 things I wish that I did before I started my business. The first thing, and this might surprise you, is don't worry too much about business skills. If you don't have a business, you can't actually apply the things that you're learning. So it kind of becomes like mental masturbation. You just listen to it and you're like, oh yeah, it feels good. But if you can't use it, then it's kind of a waste of time. When I first started, I listened to a lot of Alex Hormozi stuff. I listened to it religiously every day when I rode my scooter to work and on the way home. And then I was able to note some things down and literally apply it into my business day after day. And that's when I saw the most growth. So highly recommend having a business before you dive into some of that stuff. What you can focus on are communication skills. Communication skills are skills like how you control your rate of speech, how you control your voice, how you express feelings, how you connect with people. These skills are incredibly important, and you can start working on them. In fact, it's best to start working on them before you start, because when you're actually running your business, you're going to be super busy, and it's going to be a little bit hard to find the time to prioritize these speaking skills that can really give you an edge and make much faster progress. I was pretty lucky because my communication basics are good. I have spent hundreds of hours doing training workshops for teachers, and I spent thousands of hours in the classroom. However, even then, it was still pretty hard at the beginning for me to do things like sales, to do networking. There's a bunch of skills that I didn't really have any idea how to do, but you can actually prepare for these ahead of time. So start practicing now. Give presentations at work if you have the opportunity. Don't handball it to your colleague. Or you can consider joining a speaking club like Oracy Club, which is my online community where you can actually practice the skills you need to start your own business or to accelerate your business growth. And lastly, get comfortable talking about your expertise and your subject matter. These are things you can do straight away. And the best thing is, even if you decide not to quit your job, these skills will still be really, really helpful if you want to become a manager or a leader at your company. The second thing I wish I did was collect artifacts of my professional work. I really dropped the ball on this one. I didn't know how important it would be. I had all of this experience of doing these training workshops, both online and in person. I have nothing to show for it, and it really sucks. I could have created so much content around that. I could have been an expert in what I do now, even before I quit my job. So by artifacts, I'm talking about taking pictures and videos of you doing the professional work, especially if it involves you doing some kind of like public speaking or coordinating some group meeting. Record the projects that you're working on, either actually record physically what you're doing or record yourself talking about it. Ask your colleagues for testimonials, the people that you work with, the people that trust you and know that you're very good at your job. Ask them to do a testimonial vouching for your experience. This will be so helpful at the very beginning. And lastly, create a solid document of your progress, of your wins, and what it is that you're learning, what you're achieving. This is all really valuable YouTube content for someone that wants to do what it is that you are doing. When you eventually start your own thing, you're going to need proof that you know what you're doing, other than being able to deliver the actual service. One of the best examples of this is Vin Jung. I saw some video where he was talking about how he has basically 10 years of footage. He's been recording himself, going around doing speeches, there's so much footage of him, and they can just use it and recycle it over and over again. And he's creating new content all the time. The reason he's the GOAT is not because he's the best coach in the world, it's because he's the best at creating content and using that content. So don't make that mistake. Start building your content library now. You'll thank me later. Since you're taking all this footage of what you're doing, you could actually start creating content straight away. Many people can start creating content when they try to start their business, but it's really stressful because you don't really have much money coming in, if any, and then you're trying to start up a social media channel, and ideally you shouldn't be asking for money straight away. When you have like 50 followers, you're not going to be like, hey, pay me. You need to build relationships over time. And so it becomes very, very stressful. Would not recommend. I was still able to build a brand to over 100K followers in 9 months. However, that process was very, very stressful. I also got very lucky. And if I had to endure that for a year, which is very common, sometimes you build a social media channel for years, and it takes time to grow. It doesn't actually grow the way you want it to. If that was the case, then I would have really, really struggled. So here's how you can get started. Create a new channel. Don't spam your buddies with your professional content. They don't probably care very much about it, start a new channel. It's good to start fresh. Yes, it's harder, but you don't really want anyone to see at the beginning anyway. You need to take some time to learn. Then follow some people in your niche that you like, and follow some people in similar related niches, maybe it's business or marketing niches that you like. Save viral videos that you like that could be completely unrelated to what you do, and then eventually start trying to create the content that you see. So if you want help doing any of this kind of stuff, you can join our community. We actually have resources to help people get started. An important note, make sure you're actually happy with the job that you're doing now, because you want to create content in this niche where you have expertise. You don't really want to pivot and then start a business in something that you don't really have skills in. That would be a very, very bad idea. The other reason why this is really good is because you want to build relationships with your audience over years, not months, before you actually sell them anything. Here's an example of a community where they helped people for free for 4 years until they finally sold a product. And then when they did sell the product, they made over $350,000 in 4 weeks. It was crazy, and they can just replicate that. Look, I'm definitely not trying to discourage you from starting your own thing. Starting my own company, quitting my job was one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's just that my 2 years of suffering could have heavily been avoided if I was a little bit smarter, if I had a little bit more support. And one bonus tip, pay off your student loans and save some money before you start. It'll take a huge weight off your shoulders and you'll be able to actually learn and think appropriately. Don't be like me.